Welcome, everybody, to Beat Your Addiction podcast with John Giordano right there. I'm your co-host, Scott Jones. And please remember while you're watching the show, the only way this gets out there is if you share it with other people, and certainly subscribe. Also, we'd like you to leave comments. Those things come back to us, and we'd like to know what's going on. If you want to reach out directly to John or get more information, go to his website, johnjgiordano.com. It's on the screen twice. You can't miss it. johnjgiordano.com.
That's the initial J.
The initial J. Not like
J.
J. Not like J. It's J instead of J.
J is J.
Well, J is.
That's true.
Go to the website. It's going to be much more intelligent than anything we could say.
That's true.
John, how you doing, brother?
You know, I'm with JC's Recovery Center. It's a faith-based program now, and we're putting all the holistic stuff into it also, besides having that faith-based, non-denominational. It's going great.
That's fantastic. I mean, these are some of the people you knew there, and you guys started talking, and it just turned out to be a good fit for you to come in and help out.
Great fit. Stevie B is a pastor, and I'm a pastor also.
Right.
You know, a chaplain for the police department. So, I mean, it's a great fit.
I've been put out to pasture. Is that the same thing?
Well, we put you out of pasture a few times, but, you know.
Yeah, I just keep coming back.
Then we have a holistic part of the program also for, you know, people that want to really go and take it another level that, you know, that the insurance doesn't cover.
Yeah, absolutely. Good people there. I get a chance to spend some time there too.
Oh yeah, Scotty works there. He does motivational and fantastic.
You know, and it's a great release for me. Working with, I tell you what, I've done a lot of things in my life, just like you. You know, everything from roofing to plumbing to everything else. TV and radio. Nothing gives me the satisfaction and pleasure than standing in front of a group of young people who are struggling. And sharing what I have. And you know what? You can't help everybody, but just to see one spark,
Listen,
to see one person spark.
One person, you help a whole family.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're about at JC's Recovery Center. It's in Hollywood, Florida.
Go to the website, check it out. jcrecoverycenter.com. That's the initials, J and C. jcrecoverycenter.com. Go in there, check it out, and more importantly, give them a call, ask questions, talk to the people.
And it's not a fancy program. I want to make it real clear. We help people. We help God's kids.
There you go.
You know, we're not a Gucci program. So if you're looking for Gucci, you have to go to Paris, right? Gucci's in Paris.
You know, and John, we both have experience in this. Don't be fooled by all the smoke and mirrors that some people will show you. Right. Get to know the people there, because the truth is the most expensive program in the world, with private chefs, pony rides, and masseuses and masseuses and everything else running around, they have the same success rate as the Salvation Army men's program. It's about the people that run the place. Don't get fooled by the bells and whistles. Learn about the people that run it. If you call there, you don't like the people, don't go there. Right, John?
Absolutely. People go to people. They don't go to places.
That's good. That's a freaking T-shirt right there.
I like it.
People go to people. They don't go to places. All right.
Let's bring our guest.
We've got a guest, and we got a guest. This is our furthest guest, I think.
She's pretty far out.
She's far out. She is far. No, she is all the way in Israel, John.
I know.
I mean, we've had people out in, you know, Pennsylvania and other places, right? Yeah. But this is awesome. And her name is Bracha Goetz, and she was medically. I'm going to let her tell her story, but she has a lot of experience, and she helps a lot of people with food addictions, which is one of those addictions, John, that sometimes gets underestimated in how dangerous it can be.
Heart attack, absolutely, diabetes.
Absolutely. Bracha, thank you so much for joining us today.
Really, I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
And was that statement I just made, that this is a food addiction, is one of those addictions that probably is the most underestimated as far as the danger that it possesses.
No, it's most underserved.
Underserved and underestimated. A lot of people press it off. You tell somebody you have a food addiction, and they're just like, well, go on a diet. They don't see beyond that. So it gets, and so obviously it's underserved.
Yes, it's definitely a substance abuse addiction. The substance is food, and it's abused, and it's probably the most widespread addiction that there is.
Absolutely. Well, it raises serotonin and dopamine when you have carbs and food and stuff like that. And that's what people chase.
Yes. And
Just like
even,
drugs.
yeah, and even on the other extreme, with extreme dieting, another big problem, people are starving themselves to death with anorexia. That's another big problem. And people actually get high from that. They get high from starving themselves. It's it's incredible, but that's what goes on.
And over exercising. I know those
Right.
people over exercise.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
Yeah, it's
their brain doesn't look at their body properly. They have, I think, called a body dysmorphism.
Dysmorphia. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so they see themselves as fat, and they're like little toothpicks.
Exactly. Exactly. It's a lot of disordered eating going on, widespread in our country. I mean, let's say in the United States and in so many other.
What do you?
Uh,
What do you? What do you? I know what we attribute it to. Well, what do you attribute it to? Since you're in that area.
I attribute all addictions. There's a spiritual basis to all of them. There's an emptiness inside that is real. There's a genuine hole that we're trying to fill, and people try desperately to fill it with all kinds of external things, drugs, alcohol, gambling, food, whatever it is, and the hole gets deeper and deeper. It doesn't fill that hole. So, but the hole is real. It's a genuine hole. And the thing is that it's a spiritual hole. It's not a physical hole. So these physical things will never fill it. Once we recognize that it's a spiritual hole, then we're able to fill it. And what is needed to fill that hole? Gratitude. Gratitude is what fills us up.
Well, you know, it's interesting you said about other addictions. Most places, most treatment centers do not treat all the addictions. And Dr. Blum, who I work with, he's the geneticist who found the DRD2-ALE1 variant gene. That's the main addiction gene. He calls it RDS, reward deficiency syndrome. That means the lack of dopamine and serotonin. Now, there is a body connected to the spirituality as well. But spirituality, as far as I'm concerned, as far as you're concerned, is the foundation to any kind of recovery. If you don't feel that emptiness, you're out of luck.
Exactly. And there's really basic, simple ways to fill that emptiness. Once I discovered that, there was no longer a need for the addiction. And what I believe in ancient mystical wisdom is this knowledge about how to fill our lives with lasting pleasure. Why do we keep eating? Why do people overeat when they're already full? Because they want the pleasure to keep lasting. Why do people keep taking drugs? They want the pleasure that they're experiencing momentarily to keep going. So how do we bring lasting pleasure into our lives? And that's what I was able to learn about. And that's what I'm sharing, because it's not that well known. That if I could explain it, there's 5 levels to the pleasure ladder, and these 5 levels, they correspond to this: our fingers. In other words, we have the power in our own hands. We have the power to bring pleasure into our lives at any moment. That's what we don't realize. So how can we do that? Again, through gratitude. That's really the secret. So there's 5 levels to the pleasure ladder. They correspond to our 5 fingers, and they correspond to the 5 levels of the human soul. The lowest level of the human soul is the part that's attached to our bodies. So when we experience any natural physical pleasure, like being in nature, exercising, dancing, swimming, gardening, yoga, eating natural, healthy foods, when we experience these pleasures as we were meant to, and when we experience them with gratitude, then we go to the first level of pleasure. That changes everything. It becomes a more lasting pleasure when we experience them with gratitude. And that's just the first level of pleasure. That's the lowest level of pleasure. But that's what keeps the pleasure lasting, the gratitude.
You need an attitude of gratitude.
Yes, yes. That's our real purpose for being on this earth, to experience gratitude here. That's why we were created, really. That's our relationship with the cosmic oneness, is that we were created to, there was an illusory separation made between us and the cosmic source of all, in order for that relationship to take place, for us to enjoy all these natural wonders and give back in gratitude. That's the bridge between us, the gratitude.
Well, you know, most people are not grateful for just even being able to see, walk, hear,
yes,
move, think.
Yes.
What they don't realize is that there are people out there that don't have that.
Yes.
They're not able to walk. They're not able to talk. They're not able to see. They're not able to hear. And people that have dementia are not able to think.
Yes, yes. When we become grateful for that, when we just take on that awareness, it changes our moment. And like, we have that potential. We have that in our hands to feel gratitude for all the parts of our bodies that are working right now, for all the diseases we don't have right now. There is so much to be grateful for.
I like when you say right now, because that's all we have is right now.
Yes.
People that get depressed live in the past, and people that have anxiety live in the future.
Exactly.
The present.
Yes.
What are the other four things of that you were talking about?
Yeah, I'm so happy you asked. Okay, so then,
all right, we're ready.
Listen, Bracha, you're really going to have to get happier on us. I'm
yeah,
really
okay.
I'll
try. I'll try really hard.
No, you're not going to try. You're going to do it.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll do it. Okay, the next level up is surprising. It's love. Now, love. That doesn't sound like we could bring it into our lives at any moment. It seems to be dependent on somebody else. It's like we have to sit here and wait for someone to come into our lives. That doesn't sound empowering. No, the ancient spiritual definition of love is focusing on the virtues of another. We can do that at any moment. Like, if a person is in solitary confinement in prison, they could focus on what a grandmother once did for them, a kindness, and be emotionally uplifted and filled with pleasure and inspired to become a better person. And that's like an addiction, because an addiction is like being in solitary confinement. You're cut off, estrangement. Nobody has any idea what you're doing. You're doing it all in secret. And it's all about, this builds connection. Each level up brings more connection.
You have to love yourself also.
Yes.
And love starts with us. You know, if you can't love you, how are you going to love anybody else?
Yes.
That's number one. And you learn to forgive oneself.
Yes.
No one's perfect. We all make mistakes. Okay? And as far as I'm concerned, there are no mistakes. There are only lessons.
Yes.
You know, and that's what I believe, like, that part of that love situation is learning how to love yourself, understand yourself, forgive yourself so you can love others and forgive them.
Yes.
Things they may or may not have done.
Exactly. We learn that love your neighbor as yourself. Well, we can't love our neighbor really until we love ourselves, appreciate ourselves. That's all part of gratitude. And when people are brought up with abuse and neglect, as so many people that have addictions, they've been through traumas, all kinds of childhood traumas. It creates a lot of negative self-talk, a lot of that critic voice in the head putting you down all the time. You don't need the parents anymore because we ourselves are putting ourselves down. So
well, I fired that committee.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Basically, the step one is becoming aware of those voices so that you can choose otherwise. Exactly. First, notice all those negative things you're saying, and then override them with the gratitude and start focusing on all the good stuff.
When you talk about negative things and you think about, there's a saying in Buddhism, take custody of your thoughts, take custody of your eyes, take custody of your ears, and take custody of your mouth.
Yes.
And what the bottom line is that you attract those frequencies. Everything is made of frequencies, and you attract those frequencies, that negative energy, into you.
Exactly.
But you can also attract the positive energy.
Yes.
That's what people do.
Speaking of frequencies, I just want to let people know, if you hear any kind of buzzing or any kind of thing going on during the show, there's construction happening outside the building. And
I thought God was buzzing.
John and I are sitting here. The whole studio started vibrating.
Oh, my.
So if you do hear a little something, don't worry about it. It's coming from the studio. But actually having a vibrating studio is kind of fun. I actually enjoy
reflecting that energy.
This is kind of nice. All right, so we've got physical, we've got love, and then what's the next one?
Okay, and like you were saying, also the gratitude frequency brings in more gratitude and more stuff to be grateful for.
Right. It's like negative energy brings more negative energy.
Yep, exactly. So the next step up is meaning, doing something good, positive, and meaningful. Like what Scott was saying, of all the pleasures, what compares to when you're meeting and helping other people in recovery and you see that spark go off? That's meaningful. It brings us lasting pleasure. It stays with you, that kind of pleasure. It's because why? Because you're filled with gratitude. You are filled with so much gratitude that you were able to be that channel of connection to bring them closer. So that's the third level up. And this, again, I think is surprising. Even higher than that pleasure is creativity. Because when we are doing something creative, we get in that zone.
You're 100% correct.
1,000%.
No, 1,000% correct.
I'm a musician. I'm an artist. This is my artwork on the wall behind me.
Wow.
This is and writing and doing all of that stuff. And you know what? Being in front of people and helping people is also creative art.
That's right.
Because you have to constantly be creative on how you're going to reach them and how you're going to talk to them.
Exactly.
And that's what makes John special, is he doesn't go in there and do everything the exact same way. Every time he walks into a room, he does it different.
Yes.
And I really get high off of helping people. I get high off of creating different things. I design treatment centers. I design wellness centers. And I know what they're going to bring to the people that, come there. I mean, life is an incredible journey. People always look at the downside instead of looking at, you see, I look at it this way. God, whatever God is to anybody, gave us the gift of life. It's what you do with that life is you gift back to God. Yes. So, we got to take a good hard look at that and enjoy the pleasures we have. And listen, the downside gives you the strength to go and enjoy the upside and vice versa. So this is how you learn in life. As far as there really is no downside. There's only another side.
Exactly. Beautiful. Beautiful. So,
What's number one?
Number one, the highest level is called transcendence. Transcendence is seeing the unity, how we are all connected. We lift those veils of separation between us. We see that we're really like one big soul. We really all have the same levels within us. We all are seeking the same pleasures in life, and we were created to do this. This is how we were designed. So transcendence is also when we transcend our own limitations. We make that first crack in an addiction. It's like the highest high there is when we begin to return to who we really are. And so we can fully shine our light. You know, it's there's the frequencies. We are really light energy.
We become with the universe.
Yes,
and with
exactly.
And you know, it's an inside job, not an outside job.
Yes, yes.
I love her.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm depressed. She's so sad. It's I got to tell you, you know, when you talk about, you know, I've always seen myself as, I have to understand that I'm a puzzle piece.
Yes.
But I have to understand my own shape, my own values, the colors, the pieces what's within my piece. And once I understand all of that, then you get to this next level, the transcendence, where you pull back and you get to see you as a piece within an entire picture.
Beautiful.
And you start to realize I am just as important as any other piece.
Beautiful.
I have a role to play in everything that's out there, but it is a role within a larger picture.
Beautiful.
So,
you are definitely the missing piece.
I am the missing piece. You know, I'm that one piece when you get the whole thing done,
that's it.
And you can't find it.
Right.
And it's like you got this beautiful picture of Raquel Welch in 10,000 BC, and I'm the belly button.
You know,
it's
you
gone.
just gave me that image.
And it's gone.
Now, wait a second.
Just an image people.
You know what it is about addicts? We're feel-good junkies.
Yes.
Okay? If it feels good, we get addicted to it. So we can make addicts feel good doing the right thing. You know, addiction is really out of balance, but we want to get them to be drawn to that and fill themselves up with things that are so incredible once they get to learn about that. But you see, what happens with most addicts and alcoholics and people with other addictions, they beat themselves up unmercifully. They live in their history. They blame themselves. They blame everybody else. They have shame. They have guilt. All of this stuff. And I always tell them, look, these are your lessons. There are no failures in life, only lessons. It's what you do with that lesson is what's going to make the next move. So, you know, if people say a day at a time, no, I don't say a day at a time. That's too long. I say a moment at a time.
Yes.
Because things change within a moment.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
not necessarily in a day. And, you know, with the eating disorders, and unfortunately, this country is built to create eating disorders.
Yes.
It's because of the food supply, the water supply, and these chemists that manufactures the food, not God,
yes.
not the earth.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
They put in molecules that they know that the brain will definitely want to grab and keep doing it as much as they can. And that's what happens. So and we can't stop. You know, you have to say, well, I'm only going to eat a little bit of that pie and eat the whole pie.
Yes.
You know, and that's what they do. And these guys are paid to create these molecules. So people really, that's why they put sugar and stuff. Mother's milk is sweet. They know that. So they put sugars. And then they hide the sugar by calling it 10,000 different names.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then people don't realize that what they're doing. And the body doesn't process this stuff properly. So what happens? It turns into fat. And then fat turns into disease.
Yes.
So, you know, we have to have a certain amount of fat on our bodies anyway. But the way it's going in this country, and I just read an article about a Zemka, that weight loss drug that they have now.
Oh, Zempa.
Right.
Zemka. Yeah. They're using it for addiction, which is interesting. They're finally looking at the brain, the way the brain's processing those molecules. And what they're finding out is not only is it telling them not to eat so much, it's also telling them not to do any other things too much.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting how they're playing with the brain chemistry that turns on and off these addictions.
Can I throw another thought out to both of you? Because I think this is important too. It goes beyond just the chemistry. I mean, that's the physical part. But we got a psychological part that we do from the time you're born. You're taught to clear your plate, not listen to your body.
Yes.
So eat everything on your plate. Nobody says,
my mother used to tell me the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are children starving over there, and you need to eat everything on your plate and appreciate your food.
And now I'm 300 pounds, and the kids are still starving.
Yes.
So nothing changed. But
we're give them some of your pounds. I mean,
we're taught to listen and to clear our plates, but nobody teaches anybody to listen to your body. Your body will tell you when it's full. Your body, but we don't train ourselves to do that. So you become an adult, you have no awareness of your body.
There's a couple of reasons why that happens. Most people eat fast. You don't give the brain connection to the gut time to say, hey, you're eating too much, you're full. Okay? So satiety doesn't happen because it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens like slowly. But if you keep gobbling your food, that's why in some countries they serve dessert first. I never heard of that, but that's what they do. I forgot which country it was.
That's the country of Scott. I like that.
Scotland,
they serve that first, and then they go through the rest of it. I mean, it's like really weird. I don't know. I forgot which country that is. But, the problem is that we're taught, like you said, Scott, to eat everything on your plate. Don't leave anything on your plate. But I got to tell you something. That's our generation. That's not the new generation.
That's true. That's true. But we had the generation where they said, eat everything on your plate. But then you turn around and on TV, it's telling you have to be thin. So you get mixed messages everywhere. Yep. This is just a psychological part.
All this stuff happened really when Twiggy, and most kind of people don't remember who Twiggy is. Twiggy looked like a twig, okay? Very skinny young lady. And this is what they told the public that they need to look like. So that started a lot of things. People don't realize that there's such a thing as brainwashing going on in this country. And if you look at television and you think about it, I don't know, growing up, I don't remember an ad telling me what medication to tell my doctor to give me.
I love that.
And then you see people dancing and they're happy, and then they have a little blurb. If you take this medication, you could die, your liver could stop functioning, this can happen, that can happen, but it's great for you. And then dancing and running around, and then going, oh my God, people only see the dancing and running around. They're not listening to the counter indication of this stuff.
Bracha, what do you think about this psychological stuff that's going on that helps contribute to food addictions and other problems?
Yeah, that it definitely helped contribute to mine. I know in my memoir is actually taken from my diaries and my journals. And so the excerpts, I'm saying, I'm reading these women's magazines. It's telling me to go on a diet. And then the next page is strawberry shortcake recipes. Like
it's a strawberry diet.
Yeah, you're so confusing all the time. You're being confused, and like the natural foods, the foods that are designed for us are delicious and nutritious. And the food-like substances that you were talking about that are made in the labs, they are delicious and addictive. They're completely different than all the natural foods that were made to help build our bodies and make us stronger and keep us healthy. Those foods are not designed that way. They're designed from greed. They're not designed for our benefit. They're designed to get us to just keep eating more and more.
It's interesting. There's a saying, if it tastes good, it's probably no good. That's not really true. That's something they put into it.
Exactly, because the fruit, like the natural foods, like what is as sweet as a watermelon? It's like the most delicious sweetness. And take anything, grapes, strawberries, oranges, apples.
Well, we have strawberries again, Bracha.
Well, look at the whole thing.
I would have a strawberry shortcake after this session.
You run low on energy, and it says grab a Snickers bar.
Right.
Yeah, Snickers bar is the last thing you need to be grabbing.
Right.
People that own the company, they're snickering.
Yeah, they are snickering. I like that.
Oh, that's how it got the name.
Yeah,
now I get it.
They're laughing at us. Hey, keep eating that garbage. Don't worry. I'm making a lot of money.
Amazing.
We only have a minute or two left on the show.
Oh my gosh.
John, I think she should definitely come back, and we should go deeper into food addiction because we could go hours.
If I get any deeper,
we could go. This is serious. what needs to happen now? Obviously, you talked a lot about filling the hole and spiritual guidance, spiritual. Obviously, you also need to physically heal and create new habits. So there's also you can't have just one. You got to do all the pieces, and we understand that. But
it's a holistic approach, a comprehensive approach to healing.
I don't know that it's getting better out there or not. I don't know that awareness is better or not. What is your take on it? Are we heading in the right direction? Is the awareness where it should be? And is there a stigma attached to this?
There's an entitlement epidemic. Everyone feels I deserve all this pleasure. But meanwhile, everybody's taking things for granted. The moment we stop taking things for granted, that gives an opening for gratitude to come in. We start appreciating what we already have. We have a saying, who is rich? Those who are grateful for what they have. That's real wealth. That's what we can teach everybody that has an addiction in life, to appreciate the blessings they already have in their life. Start as small as possible. Start with an orange. Just start appreciating it. You feel silly at first, but the more you create that gratitude habit, it takes over your entire life, filling your life with so many more joyful moments.
People, that's so true, because I've traveled all over the world. Some people don't even have the ability to get water.
That's right.
Okay, orange, they don't even know what an orange looks like.
That's right.
And we have a land of abundance here, and what we do is we take it for granted, and that's the sad part. We don't appreciate what we have. We're always looking at what we don't have.
Right.
And that's the sad. It became an addictive society.
Yes.
We want more.
Exactly. And when we realize these oranges were created with loving kindness, this is how we can give compassion to ourselves and start loving ourselves again. That's what overpowers that inner critic. Keep filling your life with gratitude. Experience, savor all these precious moments.
Wow.
I love having this conversation with you, Bracha. And it was a great session.
This is one of my favorite shows. Bracha, you're brilliant. And it's just the battles, any battle you go into, when you go into it with the positivity that you carry, it makes it possible to win. It makes it possible to conquer, possible to change, possible to change directions of things. So keep that positive attitude going.
Thank you so much.
There's enough defeat out there already.
Thank you so much. It's not coming from me. This is the ancient mystical wisdom that we all can bring into our lives.
The addiction model is what's in this country, in most countries, is short-term success and long-term failure. The recovery model is short-term failure, long-term success. So you have to be willing to go through that circle of fire to get to the other side without getting burnt.
Without getting burnt. Well said, John. And Bracha, you have a book you mentioned, your memoirs. Is that something people can get?
Yeah, and on my website, people can download a free chart of the pleasure ladder with a lot of information on it. They could put it on their fridge, on their cupboards. So when you feel like overeating, right away you can see, oh, I could do this instead. What is it, my body that's hungry or my soul? And you could fill your soul with gratitude. So
what is your website?
Oh, www.getzbookshop.com. Getz is spelled that funny way. Yeah, getzbookshop.com. Yeah.
So it's Goetz Bookshop.
Goetz, G-U-E-S-T?
G-O-E-T-Z. getzbookshop.com. You'll see all my books.
Most people, Goetz, even the way, if you see somebody with their name spelled G-E-T-Z, chances are it was G-O when they dropped the O. Because, no, right?
That
Because that is actually the original way to spell that name.
Really?
And, I think people
every day.
People get tired of hearing Goetz.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for knowing that. You're one of the few people that knew that. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm a great studier of names. I love that. So we will be reaching out to you again, and it's please go to I was about to say Goetz. Go to getbookshop.com, and your emails on. People can reach out to you through your website as well, right?
Yes. Thank
Beautiful.
you so much.
And I'm going to be reaching out to you because I do a show, Sober Life Podcast. I'd love to have you as a guest on my private show.
Love it.
We're going to certainly bring you back. You are a spark. You are a ray of sunshine.
Thank you so
shining
much.
down the dark hall of addiction. And
that's why I'm going to put my sunglasses
Put
on.
your sunglasses. John just went back to Brooklyn on us. Oh, the Bronx. Sorry, the Bronx.
Bronx. Oh,
not Brooklyn. Sorry, wrong place. All right. So anyway, I want to thank you, Bracha. Any final message for somebody who might be struggling that you would like to give them that maybe helped you?
The only price you need to pay to climb this pleasure ladder is gratitude. That's it. And there's nothing to lose.
An attitude of gratitude.
Yes.
You got it.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. John, final thoughts? I mean, this has been a great show.
I love it because it was upbeat. You have a beautiful energy about you. And it's, what do you say? It's catching?
It is contagious.
Contagious. It's contagious. That's what I was
Absolutely. I'm going to be walking on air the rest of the day.
I'm going to be eating watermelon.
Oh, yay! Go for it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So glad I brought a Twinkie for lunch. No, I'm just kidding. For everyone out there, thank you so much for joining us. Remember that food addiction is very, very serious.
Yeah.
Not
and
something to be taken lightly.
People. Share this. Bracha, share this with everybody you know also.
If you know somebody who's struggling with weight loss, rapid weight loss, weight gain, issues with food, depression, any of those things,
any of the addictions,
call somebody because this can be dangerous. People die at an alarming rate from food addictions, John. So we want to make sure people take this seriously. And thank God for people like Bracha Goetz, who's out there doing the work that needs to be done. Thank you so much. For all of you out there, please subscribe to our show, Beat Your Addiction, and make sure you share this with your friends. And keep your eyes out because we'll catch you next time. Bracha, stick around. I want to talk to you after the show. Just stick around for a moment. We'll catch you next time, John.
All right. Hasta la bananas.